hello. Fear the Mere cat here. That rhymed. Well, that sort of rhymed. Anyway, I am very pleased with simple things. Like rhyming. And sometimes with complex things as well. Alliteration's good too. Anyway, yes, we are heading off into the Lost Woods. Or at least he is. Now, the thing is that if you hear the music going quiet, that means that you shouldn't go in that direction, because that will just lead you back to the start of the woods. Also, if it's got that sort of weird white light inside it rather than being totally black, that means that you shouldn't go into it, because that will lead you back to the start of the woods. I really like the Lost Woods music. In fact, I really like the music from this game in general, but it's quite sort of happy music. Lost Woods. Why if they jump like that? Make that noise whilst they're jumping. I mean, presumably this thing has been set up by this Deku shrub purely for the purpose of spitting out those Deku seed upgrades to whoever can manage to hit that thing with their slingshot, which is fortunate for us, but it just seems kind of weird. Unless the Deku Scrub had a heck of a lot of spare time on his hands, you know, it seems a bit pointless for him to spend his time setting that up. It's best whilst you're doing this, if you can't memorise the notes, if you'll keep on making mistakes, to just write the notes down. I like these sort of careful white and blue kind of trails that sort of move up and down in the middle of the screen here. They're quite pretty. Mainly doing side quests in this episode. I wanted to get all of the stuff that we were going to do in Lost Woods done in this one part. That's not a great token of their friendship, one ruby. I mean, I suppose, you know, they gave it away for free, but still, there are two of them. You'd have thought they could give one each. You could just go into the grass and walk around to get that many rupees. It's kind of, and eventually they give you a piece of heart, which is weird because they go from 1 rupee to 5 rupees to a piece of heart, which is something you cannot just wander around in the grass and find. It seems kind of a weird jump to me. I guess the music stops here and you just hear the birds because they don't want the music to obscure the notes that you're supposed to be playing. So at this point you might be starting to get a little confused about which notes you had to play next. It does get quite tough, this. I don't know if you have to start completely again, or if you just start from this point if you click no. But there's no point in clicking no, because you won't really do this for fun, I don't think. It's not like the Legend of Zelda version of Guitar Hero. You won't do it because you've been playing sort of Ocarina music for your entire life, and now you have a big piece of plastic Ocarina to do it, and kind of a band just up there on the screen. There's a band of weird forest dwelling creatures flying, I don't know, Call Me the Breeze or something. Actually, the Ocarina music always reminded me of that music from Close Encounters of the Third Kind. You know, kind of, I think the spaceship in that plays that music, or something like that. I don't know, it's been ages since I've seen this movie, but there's definitely music that kind of sounds like it's been played by an Legend of Zelda style Ocarina. I don't think you can play with them again. I think that's pretty much it. And if you go through there, you get to the home of the Goron City, but there's no point in going there that way yet. And now I have to listen to Kapore, or Kaporo, whatever it's called. I can't remember. Big talkative owl. It's actually a lot easier to do it without the sounds, just basing it on whether it's got that weird sort of white light in it or not. So you like the one that's immediately in front of Link, but not now, before. If you go down there, that leads you to the land of the Zora, but there's no point in going and visiting them yet either, so. It's genuinely easy to get lost in Lost Woods. Now, you know you've nearly found what we're looking for here, the Summer Meadow, I think it's called. We'll see in a minute, I guess, when you get to that bit with 3 white lights in it. Obviously I went through the wrong one, so I've just basically skipped over it a bit. I'm just showing this off because you'll need to go back there later. And you also need to go here, so show this off. That sort of white slab with a hole in it there. I will be showing you what that's for later, but you can't use it right now because you need bugs for that. Now this is the only Deku Business Club that has what I fear is a genuinely useful deal for you, because it upgrades your Deku sticks. It's not vital. Now what I've decided to do is I'm not necessarily going to get 100% completion. I warn you that now, because some things are a bit of a drag, to be honest, to have to do on this game, but I will at least be showing off everything. So if I've attempted something, I will show myself attempting it. I know there are a lot of silences here. There are going to be a lot of silences. That's it. And I sort of skipped over that, as I said I was going to do earlier, to show you the right place. So when you get to the one with the 3 of them, you have to go through the one on the right, apparently. This thing is called Wolfos, and you can only attack them whilst they're attacking you. I wonder if Fos, F-O-S, means something in the Hyrulean language. I mean, I know they appear to speak English, or presumably Japanese if you have the Japanese version of this game, but presumably there is a Hyrulean language. It just gets translated for us because we're humans. But yeah, there's another thing called a Stalfos and another thing called Bombos, I think, something like that, but definitely a Stalfos. You can tell I haven't done quite as much research with this part as I did with the previous ones. But there were a couple of things with false at the end of their name, so maybe it means creature or monster, or like Wolfos, wolf-like. You know, like the way that Shire means place. So something like Lincolnshire, for example, which is a county in England, means Lincoln place. Don't know if Lincoln was a person, or if it's referring to the city of Lincoln, or what exactly. Lincoln place. I suppose now is a good time for me to talk about the Legend of Zelda games in general and what I think of them. I haven't played all of them. I haven't played Wind Waker because up until recently I didn't have a Nintendo GameCube, so I couldn't. And I just haven't bought a copy yet. I haven't played any of the Nintendo Wii games because I don't have a Nintendo Wii, so there you go. And I haven't played a second Legend of Zelda game. Link to Past with the third, I think this is something like the 5th, but there were a couple of side-scrolling games. And I haven't played the second one, just the first one. The first one is basically the same as A Link to the Past, but much more basic in its graphics, and also there are fewer clues as to exactly where you have to go. But anyway, I guess I'll review the ones that I know about and tell you what I think of them, and I might as well start with this one. So this is one of my second favourite of them. I love the atmosphere, I think it feels like a big, epic, complicated adventure, you know. It's not a linear thing, it's a thing where there are so many different things that you can go and explore and learn new things and complete new side quests. But the side quests just seem to expand this sense of atmosphere, this universe that's created, because there are some games where it doesn't feel, and books and movies where it doesn't feel like it's set in its own unique world that follows its own rules. It's supposed to feel like that, but there are some things that are better than others. Like I think Lord of the Rings does that very well, both the books and the films, manages to make it look like it's its own complete world that doesn't just exist to show you this storyline, but makes you think that the characters, after this storyline is over, go on and do whatever it happens in their lives and have their own little lives where their own stuff happens in it. And I feel that the side quests just add to that with this game. So that's something that's great about it, and I like the way they're the two sort of sections of the game. There's Link as a child and there's Link as an adult, and that kind of expands it. I like the way it's got that curious mixture of sort of being a children's game or a family game, whatever you want to call it, and yet there are bits that are really dark and quite sort of frightening. I think that mixture, strange as it is, they've actually managed to do that really well. Now, these fairies give you back your health, and if you have a bottle then you can collect one, and when you run out of health the fairy will come out of the bottle automatically and completely heal all of your hearts. It's much easier just to walk along these things rather than making your way back past the Deku scrubs on the ground. Anyway, yeah, I like that as well, and obviously the special effects were good for the time. Maybe not quite as good now, but I think this game has aged very well. That's one of the good things about it. Although you do occasionally get interrupted by the big talking owl. His eyebrows kind of look like pens, I think. I don't know. Weird eyebrows, the thing is. And it explains to you about the songs, which everyone has already figured out by now, even without my input, even without my explaining them. In fact, you can't really get to this point in the game, I don't think, without learning how the ocarina works. It might be possible, but I just think it's unlikely. You could have skipped over learning the songs, but okay, in that bit I got lost for a while, I admit, so I'm just going to show you the way from the entrance again so that you can trace my steps, as it were, and see how to get to where we're trying to get to. But yeah, I guess that's all I have time for the review. I really ought to talk about the game some more now, I guess, in terms of what's happening on screen. So here we have another musical thing. I'm just showing off the screen here that shows you all of the notes, so I'm a bit of a wimp for having to look them up, but never mind. And yeah, you have to play Sarah's song. Now that is the Skull Kid from Majora's Mask, or that's the theory anyway, because he does say in Majora's Mask that someone once taught him a song, which is what you've just done, and it does kind of look like Skull Kid, so, and there's also no period of time between this and Majora's Mask. It starts when this game finishes. So there's no one else it could possibly be, because he hasn't had time to talk to anyone else who looks like Skullkid and teach him a song. And that's about it for this episode, so I guess I will be talking at you over and over again some more next time. Goodbye.